Hello. How are you today? Praying that you're doing well and that the Lord is speaking to you and that you are listening. You know, the other day I was talking to one of our young adults on the phone, and we were just talking about, actually, it was kind of funny. We were talking about how right now, because everybody's sort of inside, how the environment is changing and the pollution is fixing itself and things are growing and all that. And one of the things that we were talking about was that there were some pandas who, I actually went and looked it up, and these pandas at a zoo in Hong Kong have been together for 10 years and never mated. And all of a sudden, now that nobody's there, maybe they're getting the privacy they need, I don't know, but they've mated for the first time. And so again, it's just so interesting because as we were talking about it, I couldn't help but thinking how there's something about isolation that can take barrenness and turn it into fruitfulness. And so I was thinking about a scripture that I was reading. I did my devotions on a while ago. And my prayer is that during this time that you're quiet and still more than before with the busyness, that there's going to be some growth in some areas, and that the Lord will point his finger on those areas maybe that he wants to rejuvenate and rebirth some things in you. And so I was reading in John, and it was John 6:9, and it was the story of feeding of the 5,000. And you know, that's pretty much an impossible story. And well, I'll do 8 first. It says, one of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, there is a little boy, of course, you know the story. If you don't, Jesus was with thousands of people. They didn't have food, and so they were trying to figure out how they were going to feed him. And so Andrew says, there's a little boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but what are these for so many people? And I just thought about that, like, again, if I was sitting there with all of them sitting around with Jesus, and maybe I'd be like, why are you telling us about that? Like, how is that at all gonna help all these people, thousands of people? Like, that's nothing. And I think sometimes we can do that with our own talents and our own giftings. We can look at them as these, you know, little loaves and this little bit of fish and go, well, how is that significant? Like, why would that even make a difference? But, you know, in verse 11, it goes on and it says that Jesus took those, and then he blessed them, he broke them, and he gave them. And it's amazing how when we just take what we have, that little bit, you have a gift, you have a talent. And sometimes we can think it's so insignificant that we just dismiss it. And I just want to encourage you right now, while everything is quiet, while we're in isolation, go to the Lord. Take time with him and let him maybe point out some areas where you've seen them as barrenness to bring some re-dreaming and some rebirthing. If that's not a word, I don't think. But anyway, you know, just take those things, because when you take that small thing that you have and when you put it in the hands of the Lord, he takes that and then he breaks it and hands it out. What he can do with that is amazing. Whether you're a great listener, whether you can sew. Right now, people that can sew, oh my goodness, they are such a blessing with making masks. And who would have known, right? Like, it's amazing. So I want to encourage you, go away, sit with the Lord, and take some time to say, what have I been discounting that I've looked at it like, how would that make any difference? Because when you take what you have and you give it to the Lord, it will make a huge difference. So spend some time with him, let him speak to you, and he wants to take some time to rebirth some areas that have been barren in your life. Bless you, love you, and can't wait to see you soon.